Wholeness, everyone, and welcome to another edition of We Meditate. I am your host, Ahmad Brown. And for today's show, I actually want to do a brief reminder on the importance of water. The importance of water. When we talk about water, we're talking about the Earth's and the body's most prevalent entity. The Earth is majority water, and the body is actually majority water. And again, knowing these things from a conscious, awareness, as above, so below. So what essentially is happening on the Earth is actually happening on the body. So if the Earth is majority water, that means the body is majority of water. Same thing with consciousness. So that means on the realms of consciousness, everything is majority water, which means we're actually swimming. So if we may think that we're actually walking around and we're driving around, we're actually swimming through consciousness. And we're using different modes of doing it. We're just walking on different floors or different levels, so to speak, of this sphere of consciousness that is the universe in and of itself. But we are, in essence, swimming around in this big ball of water. And so while we're swimming, though, we could actually begin to raise our conscious awareness to enhance our stroke. In enhancing our stroke, we can enhance our life. Because the better the stroke, the more efficient the movement. And so as we efficiently move, we can get more out of life, and we can begin to grow more, because as we move and move more, we gain more strength. And as we gain more strength, we gain more expansion. And as we gain more expansion, we gain more territory. And as we gain more territory, we actually grow ourselves back to the resemblance of source, to where we could actually return to that. And so just looking at water, I actually want to briefly talk about, the famous, very, very famous Dr. Matsumoto water experiment. For those who don't know, Dr. Matsumoto, who recently died, actually, did an experiment with water that gave some very, very strong revelations on the power of speech. To basically make it very simple, Matsumoto did experiments where he said positive things to the water and negative things to water. And after things either positive or negative were spoken, he went and analyzed via microscope the structure of the water. Now, again, the structure of the water, once you blew it up in the microscope, showed to have two totally different forms based on the positive or the negative things that were spoken to it, meaning that the water had full-on reactions to the vibrations via speech that were sent through it. And so when someone said something negative to the water, and then it was immediately frozen and then analyzed, the water actually took on a very, very grotesque shape, a very misaligned shape, a very essentially just a shape where it just was not pleasant, and the water flowed in a very vitriolic and violent way. However, when he analyzed water that had positive speech spoken to it, the water took on very serene and structured crystalline shapes. It had a perfect, the perfect hexagon, the 6x6. It had a perfect golden frequency shape to it. It had the perfect shape of a Merkaba. When his experiment was concluded, he essentially found out that speech, our very speech, can change the water. And so this is actually a huge revelation. Again, it's something that was always known, but to see it being shown in a very scientific, explicit, in front of your face form, we could actually make this same revelation or take this same knowledge to our life application. This is true because our bodies are 70% water. So based on the proof of Dr. Matsumoto's experiment, if we speak negatively over ourselves, speak negative all the time, send out negative energy waves to other people, things of that nature, we will actually reinforce a grotesque nature inside of our body, meaning the very cells of water that move throughout our entire body, that help us move, will essentially take on a cancerous form. They will take on a form that is very grotesque looking. And on the flip side, if we speak positively over ourselves, positively over our goals, speak positively about life in general, speak positively over other people, our lives will take on a much more structured way. Our internal composition will have a much more aligned balance. And essentially, when we talk about water, we will actually be more alkaline. Our bodies will be in line, structured in line, meaning our bodies will be more alkaline, which actually means we will be more conductive. This is what that process means. We will actually literally be much more conductive, so that we can get better outcomes over what is happening. And so these better outcomes that we're looking for will actually help progress our lives. And basically, when we are structured in our speech, structured in our movements, more alkaline, which produce more alkalinity, this is what gives us a more effective stroke out of life. And so we have to realize that we can apply this to everywhere. This can affect our ideas and our ambitions. Each idea we have is actually a wavelength of energy, or a thought process, or a thought form that can be inserted into the river of consciousness. Whatever idea that you have, it already exists in consciousness. It doesn't matter how abstract, how crazy, how ridiculous it is. It already exists in the stream of consciousness, because the stream of consciousness is infinity. It's infinite possibilities. And so if you have some particular idea and you go into the source of yourself and you raise your vibrational frequency to essentially, send your prayer up to God. Again, I'm just using the abstract term. When you do so with positive reinforcement, meaning a positive vibration inside of you, which is essentially an emotion, with a positive emotion, with a positive awareness, with a consistent reinforcement via your mental thoughts and your mental visions, and your practical application, you will actually help structure that river of consciousness that already exists, and bring that river and let it pour over into your lives. I mean, it will pour down into your consciousness and empower you to be able to manifest it around you. Because again, it will be first manifested in you because of the attachment you have made to the river of consciousness, which will give you the power to bring it through your own will and bring it into the earth. And so when you do so in a positive way, the river of consciousness will bring it to you in a more efficient fashion, because you are now stroking consciousness by your alkaline behavior. And so if we want to manifest our ideas, we have to find where the flows are in real time and get into that current. Essentially, this is one part of like how we manifest our ideas. Even if we have something, again, like I say, that's quote unquote totally brand new, it's still moving through there's still some vehicle that already exists that can help us get there. So I don't know, let's just say you want to write a book, so to speak, that is about some subject that has never been written before. It's still a book. So you still already have channels that exist that can help you get through that, meaning there's publishing houses, there's similar types of subjects that have already been written on, things of that nature, that you can begin to start to dive into that overarching sea of consciousness, that archetype of consciousness, and then pull out your niche. And as you pull out your niche with positive reinforcement, you will bring it into the flow or the stream of life for you. And so essentially, I just wanted to say that whatever it is that you want to do, be positive with it. Be persistently positive with it. Be consistently positive with it. Because the river will flow to you. And if we're actually traveling down a river, meaning we're actually moving towards something, we will have to understand that we will get rocky. Things will get rocky. If you go through a river, it doesn't matter where you are on the planet, whatever river that is flowing, there's ebbs and flows in that river. It's not like a pool where it's completely smooth on the bottom. There's debris at the bottom of that river. There's older people's ideas that have been stuck, like dams, old tree stumps. Like say you get stumped and you don't know how to bring something out of, get over some particular obstacle. There's rocks and there's debris, there's dangers on the path, as they like to say. All of those things exist when you try to manifest something. However, when you essentially learn to walk on the water, again, that's a Jesus analogy. When you learn how to use your water principle by being focused and structured in it, by remaining positive, you raise your vibrational frequency and your vibrational level to where you will walk on top of your idea, and you will be walking towards it as opposed to your idea walking towards you. That's like when I say you need to get that monkey off of your back. The reason why you have a monkey on your back is because you have an idea that is you need to get off. or you need to get out, but you won't do it. So instead of you walking on that idea and letting that, and you walk forward in your life on top of that idea is now taking over your consciousness in the form of like regret. And it keeps running in your brain, running over you, because you have now started to drown in your own idea. And so that idea is just going to continue to run through your brain until you begin to stand up. And again, positive speech is what will help you to do so. And so you could stand up in your consciousness and stand up in your ideas and begin to go down the stream of life that will help you bring it forth into action. And all of this will happen because of the positive speech that you have done, which will reinforce a positive life, which will reinforce positive structure, which again will improve your maneuvering and manifesting abilities in this life. So, if you want to do more research, just look up Dr. Matsumoto water experiment, and everything you'll see that you need to see will be laid out right in front of you, clear as day. So remain positive in whatever it is that you want of life. Don't fret, don't fear, but also get to work doing it. In just a matter of time, that river of consciousness that is your idea that you were working towards will find its ocean. And when it finds its ocean, it will expand. Or when it finds its sea, it will expand. And that's when you quote unquote blow up. And so blow up your idea. If you want to get married, stay persistent in that and do the work. And next thing you know, it will blow up. And next thing you know, you're married. If you want that new job, or that new promotion, things of that nature, stay persistent and it will blow up and you will get what you ask for. If you want or need that new car, that new house, whatever it is, you stay persistent and positive in doing it and it will blow up. So you just need to be faithful in your practice, faithful in your positivity, and faithful in your work, and it will be manifested right before your eyes. It's not just an abstract idea of consciousness. This is a scientific proven fact by Dr. Matsumoto himself. So walk in science and walk in faith and be who and what you are and go out and get it. This is Ahmad Brown, aka Son of Pharaoh. We meditate wholeness.